Hey everyone, Taco here and I hope you're doing well. Do you use Adobe Lightroom to edit your photos? Do you ever use those picture control features directly inside your camera to stylize your images? Do you ever wish that you can use those picture control camera features directly inside Lightroom? Well, there's a little known secret and I'm going to show you how you can use those picture control camera features directly inside Adobe Lightroom. So let's begin. What are picture control options inside your camera, you ask? Most manufacturers will have this, but depending on the brand of camera you have, it may be called something different. In Nikon's case, you can go to your photo shooting menu, scroll down to Set Picture Control, and then you'll have your default options for your picture control, such as Standard, Neutral, Vivid, Monochrome, Portrait, Landscape, and Flat, followed by your creative picture controls such as Dreams, Dramatic, Melancholic, Pure, Sepia, Carbon, and so on. And I have an image that I chose, and by default, here's the editing panel inside the Develop module. When you look at the top profile here, the top section here has Adobe Color by default. If you select the triangles to open up the additional options, you'll probably have these similar options that are enabled by default by Adobe Lightroom. Adobe Color, Landscape, Neutral, Portrait, Standard, and Vivid. If you click on this Browse, you'll be selected with this new panel inside Adobe Lightroom. It's called the Profile Browser, and it has several different sections. Depending on what you have installed, you may actually have something different in the bottom sections here. The thing to note here is the camera matching options right here. Adobe Lightroom identifies the camera that you're using and it will match the creative styles to that camera manufacturer and display it here. So in my case, I'm using Nikon images. So it will display all of my Nikon creative picture control options right here inside the camera matching. So everything from camera flat, landscape, neutral, portrait, and all to the creative styles down below, such as sepia, silence, somber, Sunday, and toy. And if you scroll over them, you can see that the display will actually change real time. By default, Adobe RAW has these options, and these are what you see on the beginning profile section that I showed you earlier. These asterisks mean to display these options within the default profile. So if I don't want to see Adobe Landscape, for example, or Neutral or Portrait, then I can disable those asterisks, and if I wanted to add additional ones to that default list, I can go to Camera Landscape and press the asterisks. Press asterisks, 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 depending on what it is that you want to see, and once you're done with it, you can press close, and now inside the profile section you have here, you'll be presented with all the different options that you just pressed asterisks on. So camera landscape, and then you can start and continue your editing like you do normally. Again, if you want to edit your list, just go to Browse, go to your options, deselect or select your various profiles that you want to add and delete from that default list. You can even add some from here, additional ones that you may like or dislike, and press close to have those appear or disappear from your default list here. Now we go back to the profile section here, and you see the 4 rectangle options here. If you select this, this will give you a shortcut to your menus that I showed you earlier here, and it is just a quick way of getting to this list. Now if you go back to this option for list, you can click on list, large, or grid, and in large it will actually give you thumbnail previews of each of those profile options. Go back to grid, and it will give you smaller thumbnail options where you can actually compare many more options on screen at one time. So it's pretty handy to see how your options will affect your image overall. I prefer the list since I can see most of my names here all at once. Close it, and now you're able to continue on with your workflow like you do normally. So that's how you can use those creative picture control options inside your camera directly inside Adobe Lightroom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.